Hi, Mama Tiff here, channeler of the blue, spiritual teacher, and psychic medium. I thought I'd do something interesting. I have so many people all over the world asking me, what is it like to be a psychic medium? So I think I'm just going to share some things, maybe in a couple videos, but I was born this way. So I've been seeing things, spirits, all kinds of wild stuff since I was born. And it's really crazy is I remember before I could talk in my crib, I have the most vivid memory of being in a pink felt type pajamas with vinyl feet. And I hated the way the vinyl felt because my feet would sweat and they'd get cold and I'd feel the seams on my toes. And I just hated that. And I'd always hear the train outside the window and it'd scare me and I'd just cry. And my mom wasn't super affectionate, so she just would give me a bottle of Jello water and I would just sit there and feel so uncomfortable. And I remember before I can even talk, people say that's not possible. And I'm like, well, I could tell you every detail of my childhood bedroom. You know what I'm saying? But I just always had really interesting experiences and seeing things that other people couldn't see. And I also knew, I cried a lot. So my mom took me to the doctor and they said she has clinical depression at the age of 8. And I knew that I wasn't supposed to tell the doctors that I could talk to dead people. And I had a little girl. Her name was Sarah. She was my little companion as a child. And my mom always just said, oh, Sarah's Tiffany's imaginary friend. She was not imaginary. And I just always was this way. And I learned through hard knocks. My mom knew how I was. I think some of the people in my family knew, but I didn't really talk about it because my mom told me never to talk about it because if I did, Satan would get me. So I was raised in some pretty intense religion. I was raised Mormon. I know they don't say Mormon anymore, but I do because that's my life. But I had all these experiences all the time with visitations from spirits, and some were light, some were dark, and it's always been this way. My first really profound shift in my life was a visitation from Yeshua when I was 10. And I just remember I went and this is a crazy story, but I had gone a couple years before that. I was 8 years old and I had watched The Exorcist and it scared me so bad I could hardly function for like 2 years. So my mom took me to this man that gave me what the Mormons call a blessing. It was a stake present. So I went to an office and he put his hands on my head and gave me a blessing is what they call it. And in the blessing, it said that angels are my companions and all kinds of stuff. And I really did feel a sense of peace. And I went home and I had the strongest feeling to like clean my room, to get in my prettiest nightgown. I took a shower. It was really strange. I just knew that I was supposed to like clean up and get my room in order. And then I fell asleep and I kept hearing someone call my name. And I was like, who's calling my name? And I kept waking up. And on the third time I sat up and there was a man standing above my bed. And actually, there was 2 men standing above my bed talking to me, and I was having this conversation. And I still, to this day, do not remember the exact words, except Yeshua said to me before he left, he said, do you love me? And I said, yes. And then I felt the most peaceful feeling and went back to sleep. Well, funny thing, after that, I had a dream that I went to tell all my friends and my family that Yeshua, and I call him Yeshua now because that was really his name. I knew him as Jesus at the time. I went and told all my friends Jesus had come to visit me. And in the dream, everyone just laughed at me. So I woke up in the morning, told my mom the experience I had and the dream. And she goes, well, I believe you that Jesus came to see you and the Holy Ghost was with him. I know it was a different being than the Holy Ghost at this point, but and she goes, and that dream meant that you can't tell anyone because they won't believe you. So here I am on TikTok as a 55-year-old woman, talking to people, channeling the blue. And now I'm telling you about me and Yeshua. And I'm not afraid anymore. I don't really care what people think. But I will tell you, living a life as a psychic medium, I have so much more to add. I'll just do this for today and tomorrow I'll do another one. But it's not people are like, that would be so amazing to have that gift. It took me a long time to appreciate it because sometimes you don't want to see what you're being shown. And I had to learn things the hard way. No one was there to teach me how to use my gifts. So now I'm an international healer and psychic medium and teacher and all the things, but I learned a lot the hard way. And I know there's a lot of you out there. Hi. And it's a good life. And today, in these days and times, I'm super grateful that I have connection to the blue and yet still Yeshua too. So yeah, I hope you have a good day. Enjoy your gifts, because I do believe that they were put into us so that we could use them right now in the world right now.